fond of me lobster, ain't you?
Drunken in a Virginia fence.
I seen it. You're fond of me lobster. Say it.
Welcome to the Regular Menthol Podcast, where we discuss Kino movies. My name is Tate. My co-host here is Chris.
Hi, folks.
We give our thoughts on the movie, our experience with it, and we discuss specific scenes that we like, followed up with our very own Kino rating. Today we're discussing the movie The Lighthouse from 2019, starring Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. Let me ask you something. Are you excited about talking about The Lighthouse?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about. This is pretty wild movie. Yourself?
Well, I'm jazzed up about it.
Are you not excited to talk about the movie?
Well, normally it's some movie that we're discussing, and I'll have like certain points and everything. But I forgot how completely insane this movie is.
it's on the edge, bro. This is your movie.
This is yeah. I was pleasantly surprised at how incredible this movie is.
You totally forgot about it.
I forgot about it, which is interesting because it was from 2019 and we went to see it
during the COVID.
Was that during the COVID?
Pre-COVID. It's pre-COVID.
Was that an era I don't even know what it feels like anymore? The pre-COVID era. I'm still 2 weeks in, dog.
Well, you got 2 more weeks for the hantavirus.
two more weeks on top of 2 weeks. Holy smokes. Ladies and gentlemen, is it even possible to stop the spread?
2 more weeks.
Wow.
That's all I hear.
Wow.
Hey.
Oh, are you feeling
How
all
you
right?
doing there, brother?
I'm feeling cracked down.
I'm all right. Are you all right, dude?
Not really.
Sound like you're going through it over there.
I feel like my house is haunted.
Go on.
It's trying to kill me,
for this
dog.
episode.
The air in my house is trying to kill me. It's trying to suffocate
That's
me.
the hantavirus there, bro.
Well, I didn't want to say anything, but, it could be. I could be patient zero for this thing in America, in Montgomery County.
The government's after you, bro.
Well,
Government is after you.
I'm going to be locked down for a good amount of time, so I'm ready. But, the last time we were in a lockdown, we got $2,000, $1,000 checks in the mail, if you remember that. Crypto went wild, so I'm finna get rich, dog. I'm finna get rich. You feel me?
Is this a crypto buy right here? Is this a buy point in crypto?
Yes, this is when you should be buying. No one is talking about it whatsoever. Therefore, you should be buying. And you should sell when, like your parents ask you, hey, what do you know about that crypto stuff? That's when you sell.
That's a good point.
Can you sign me up for Coinbase?
So, this is a big one. Let's talk about this. Let's get right in because there's a lot to talk about this movie, I think. Give me a description here. The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse is a charming workplace drama about 2 men who take a remote housekeeping job and immediately discover that absolutely nothing improves when you remove society, sunlight, and basic emotional stability. Robert Pattinson plays Ephraim Winslow, a man who arrives on a tiny island lighthouse expecting honest work and instead finds himself trapped in a 24/7 OSHA violation overseen by Willem Dafoe's Thomas Wake, a retired sea captain who looks like he was carved out of the driftwood and smells exactly how you'd think given his countless on-screen farts. Winslow grows increasingly furious that Wake won't let him see the light, which apparently contains either cosmic truth, madness, or perhaps just a very powerful light bulb. It all culminates in Winslow finally getting a look at the light, only to discover that the real horror was accepting a job with no HR department.
That's it.
Hey!
Workplace drama.
No HR department.
It, folks.
Hey, bud, I thought HR was the enemy. What are we talking about here?
HR. I have an HR at my job, fortunately.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Whoa!
I have HR. Well, technically we have an office manager, but we have an owner who's like, yeah, dude, we couldn't have an HR. Like we do, but it's not technically, but there's no one who's going to sit you down and be like, hey, we heard you said some things.
We heard you upset some people. We're going to have you take some online courses on anger management. You're being unprofessional, and we're going to have to write you up if this continues.
So the professional.
King. So, yeah, this is directed by Robert Eggers.
Yes, your boy.
A Kino director. He's going on to be a top guy in the Kino cinematic universe. Afterwards, directed The Northman and Nosferatu. Two also
Was The
insane
Northman
movies.
wasn't that the one with the Vikings?
Yes, it's awesome.
Yeah, okay.
You should
I didn't
watch
see
it. It's
I-
incredible.
I probably should.
The Witch, right?
Heard of something
Yeah.
like this.
And we went to see
he's good,
Nosferatu,
man.
of course.
Good movie. Not great, but good. I thought. I know it was your movie. Anyhow, my apologies.
I'm having difficulty remembering any big budget blockbusters in the last couple years. It's just, I don't know if you feel me on that. Do you remember any kind of big budget blockbusters off the top of your head?
They weren't Marvel movies?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I don't even know Marvel
I don't
movies,
know.
to be honest with you. I'm not paying attention to it that much, but Marvel movies even
Well,
toned down.
Now you have the Odyssey coming out. A lot of controversy about the Odyssey.
Oh my God, the controversy erupts.
Achilles being played by Elliot Page, your
Well,
boy.
she's probably doing enough
Your
roids. So maybe she's roid maxing the same way that Brad Pitt was back in the Troy days. But the point I'm making, though, is I think they're just going to release these artistic movies from now on until they can bring Coke back to Hollywood.
That would be nice. That would be nice, dude. That would be net positive. I'd be excited about that because that's all I've been waiting for forever. I'm surprised that this guy even gets ability to make these movies. The studio backs him because he's a phenomenal director. And yeah, it's a shocker to me.
So we'd have to look up
So.
the budget on these. But the thing is that they're probably bringing in more money than they're being used on budget. Like, the budget doesn't seem that extraordinary on these kind of movies that he's making, right?
You probably have a decent budget. Those are two pretty big stars. Yeah, let me look it up.
Yeah, but the thing
Budget
is,
for the Lighthouse.
it's all in one.
$11 million.
Yeah, like $11 million, right? So that's
Yeah, I guess I'm wrong.
chump change
Nothing.
to these studios. So you got to figure, okay, well, we'll focus our budget on whatever kind of superhero slop we have going on, and then we'll also make money by giving some of these artistic directors free reign.
Right.
I'm seeing one of the movies, I don't know why this is jumping out to me, but the movie Barbarian. Did you see that?
I did not.
With Skarsgård, and it's about an Airbnb where two people are booked at the same time, and there's these underground tunnels underneath them. And
When did this release?
this is like a couple years ago.
No clue of this movie's existence.
Justin Long was in it, the guy from the Apple ads.
Yeah, dude.
So
That guy.
the reason I'm bringing that up, though, is it's like another, I don't know if I'd just call it an artistic movie, but like this lower budget Hollywood movie where they're kind of giving this director free reign to just go wild. And I'm like, I'm here for that. This is what I want to see.
Justin Long and the Walrus.
Maybe, I mean, are you a fan of Justin Long?
I don't hate him.
I don't either. Yeah.
He's interesting, but he gets some interesting movies. I definitely don't hate him. So, but yeah, I hear what you're saying with that point. Yeah, it would be nice to see some of these movies coming back to the big screen.
I'm watching this movie, there's all this crazy stuff happening in this movie. And I'm like, yes, I want to go insane now. I'm like, is this all some kind of psyop? Is Robert Eggers some kind of CIA mind control assassin where is this some kind of Manchurian Candidate trigger mechanism for people like me to just go crazy?
Perhaps, dude. Perhaps. Yeah. I mean, the spiral into madness in this movie is quite telling.
Yeah,
I do enjoy it. I mean, we'll talk about it. The thing that stood out to me was immediately when you're watching this, I had to look it up. This is shot in a 1:19:1 aspect ratio, which is very rare.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives this whole box look as opposed to the 16:9 that you're used to, which is like the standard 1920 by 1080.
Yeah.
And the box look, I believe, is meant to look more claustrophobic in these scenes when they're there, but it's a nice touch, man. It looks so cool.
It is cool. That is an interesting aspect of them changing the way it looks on screen to make it more confined. And it's like, really, I was thinking related to that. I'm not exactly sure what they were doing with the marketing on this movie, where it's not exactly clear what this movie is going to be about, right? Like you see the aspect ratio, the black and white. I'm thinking maybe this is some kind of period piece with some mystery thrown in, right? And
not that.
Nah, dude, this is perhaps the craziest movie I've ever seen. There's total insanity in this movie. I'm like,
you think?
Yeah. Like when we originally, I don't know if you remember this. So like we went to see this. It wasn't like a big sell by you. You were like, hey, bud, Pattinson, Dafoe, you in? I'm like, yeah, obviously. Right?
Well, for me, it's like you see something black and white and it looks artsy, and that's all it takes for me.
Right.
I'm waiting for the next cool avant-garde movie to come out that I think is going to be good by a semi-renowned newer director, because he just did The Witch, which got some acclaim. And I'm like, all right, this has the potential to be good. I know Dafoe's not doing some bullshit.
Right.
Dafoe guy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I'm going to go out on a limb and say you weren't expecting this level of insanity when we went to this theater, correct?
No, and I don't recall. I may have looked it up and seen some of the reviews on it, but I wasn't review maxing back in 2019, if I remember correctly. But yeah, definitely a pleasant surprise. No question about that. But the other thing is the cinematography of this movie, man. It's like the camera angles. I could talk about this the entire episode, but I will try to keep that to a minimum, folks. I know that can get kind of boring, but we'll talk about different shots, but the cinematography, next level on this. You remember the first time watching this? I assume it was, we saw it in the theaters, as you just said.
We saw this in the movie theater together.
Yeah, and that was, like I said, I think you saw The Witch, did you not?
No.
Prior to this? You didn't.
So I'm going into
it. You went back and watched it.
Completely blind, yeah.
Did you go back and watch The Witch?
No, I didn't. But you were telling me about it, and I was like, I don't know I'm going into this movie completely blind. I have no idea what's happening, other than the fact that Goat Bowl, Pattinson in it, and it's just two dudes like yelling at each other. I'm like, yes, all in.
And so, yeah, in addition to the black and white, Dafoe, Pattinson, because this is when I'm starting to really like Pattinson. He's taking those risks as an actor. I'm like, this guy's super talented. Then you have the whole maritime angle, which I'm kind of obsessed with when it comes to movies and stuff. So I was immediately all in on that. That's probably why I hit you up about it. But literally me character, who do you got?
I mean, I kind of identify
more.
more.
You in this movie?
I mean, I think I'm more awake because I'm just apt to start going on rants about crazy shit.
I think you're a little bit 50-50.
Gaslighting people into thinking that they're nuts.
Yeah, right. Well, not much gaslighting needed, but with the people we talk to. Yeah, I see myself a little bit as little Winslow in this kind of esque. I mean, given his extreme hatred for larger birds, which I have that, just people farting around me, which I'm not a big fan of either. And getting scrutinized for work ethic, I also do not like. So I can relate to this young man.
Yeah.
I'm a hard worker. But we'll talk about some of that moving forward. But some fun facts. These are pretty interesting. Pattinson claimed director Robert Eggers sprayed him with a real-life fire hose during intense scenes. And the actors often stayed in character, avoiding each other during breaks to increase the tension. Now, I read about this, getting sprayed with this fire hose, or I may have seen an interview with him. I'm like, just imagine him on set getting just doused with this fire hose in this inclement weather, with a foggy environment, just cold as shit. Super annoying, bro. Talk about acting in the elements. Sucks. I've been there. Not to this level, but in the elements, and it just, like, low budget even makes it worse. It sucks, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I read somewhere that he was also getting drunk, legitimately drunk. So
in character. Method acting.
Yeah.
So the film was shot in black and white stock that required 15 to 20 times more light than modern color films, resulting in blindly bright sets where the crew members sometimes wore sunglasses. I thought that was pretty cool because you get the lighting in this, really cool shadows. This is one, especially being black and white, shot on film, where the lighting crew, because people take that for granted, man, just lighting up a set.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've seen it firsthand. It's like, it's an art. And something like this, 10x.
It is an art. It was shocking to me being on those sets, seeing Adam and the other dude zipping around with that like little light measure thing, getting the readings and all that. I'm like, oh damn, it's that real. Like it's that important.
It's so important. Yeah, I mean, you can do certain things in post, but you really need the lighting to be sound in order to mess around with it.
Mm-hmm.
The script was partially inspired by the 1800s small lighthouse tragedy where two keepers were stuck in a storm. One died, leading the other to go mad. So I don't know if you heard of the other one. I think it was Flanagan Island or Flannan Island, right? Where there was 3 lighthouse keepers. This is a pretty popular story. They even made a movie on it. I forget who Gerard Butler maybe was the lead in that.
Okay.
But anyway, the idea was there was these 3 lighthouse keepers, and I think this was possibly, I'm sure it was loosely based on that as well, but there was like a rogue wave that hit them, or potentially they took the boat out to save one guy and they never made it back. But it's kind of one of those cryptic, weird mysteries where I think one or two of the life jackets was taken, or raincoats even, rather, and they still had some of their dinner that was fresh on the table, like not eaten, which is pretty wild, creepy. But yeah, if you look that story up, it's an interesting read. It was called the Flannan Island Lighthouse. Lastly, while Pattinson stayed in a hotel with the crew, Dafoe lived in a separate, isolated fisherman's cottage to mirror his character's isolation. So, you've seen these videos of Dafoe on the street when people go up to him or whatever?
Yeah.
He seems like a pretty approachable guy, pretty down to earth.
Right.
Like a real true artist, you know what I mean? Doesn't have a big head on him, but I just thought this is kind of fun. Because again, dude, I've said it in prior episodes, I'm not a big fan of the whole method acting thing.
Right.
But obviously, what do I know? Because look how good Dafoe is in this movie. Some of these scenes that he has, there's few people that can do it that well. So I thought that was funny. But just imagine this dude just zipping around a set. He's in this little cottage. Mr. Dafoe, you're needed on set. Right? Let's get into some of these keynote scenes here. What do you got?
I mean, Winslow arrives at the lighthouse chair and walks upstairs into his bedroom, and Wake is just peeing upstairs. And it just amuses me how 30 seconds in, we're treated to a display of comfortability with each other that seems very out of place, right? It's like Wake is peeing out in the open and gives a fart for good measure. Zero reaction from Winslow. Is this just how you're expected to act when you're just living in a lighthouse with another guy, I guess?
I mean, this is what, 1800s?
Yeah.
Early 1900s, I guess it's supposed to be. I guess. But again, and I'll probably say this all episode, is we don't know what's real. I mean, this opening scene could even be altered because it just opens itself up to, we don't even know the timeline here or what's actually really happening. So, but yeah, it's an interesting opening take. I don't know about the comfortability of that, but sometimes you just gotta piss. Piss around a lot of people?
I don't.
Pissing out in the open?
Only at work when I'm forced to just piss mug people with a strong stream. I mean, if someone's sitting next to you at the other urinal, do you just start forcing your pee out harder just to show them dominance?
Yes. I do it right down to the little water at the bottom. I'm like, all right, let me stand my ground here. This is my urinal. This is my time.
Did you ever go to the length of pulling your pants all the way down while you're peeing at the urinal? Like, imagine, like, I'm
something
just
you would do that. I feel like,
yeah, I'm in the bathroom at work, and like some like Dom walks in, and I'm just sitting there with my pants all the way down. I feel like you'd respect it.
Respect.
The sounds in this movie, incredible, right from the start.
Yeah, for sure.
You got this loud ass siren, this big horn that just keeps going off throughout.
Foghorn?
Yeah, all throughout the movie, it's just going off. And the wind, it's almost as if these are characters themselves.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way?
Yeah. It's further proof, like I always say, that sound, music, scores are so important to the movie. Like they literally sometimes make the movie, really. And it's like, you have this loud foghorn playing throughout the movie, and it just gives this ominous energy. You know what I mean? So, and we'll talk about it further, but there's parts in there where it's just like silent, and then they're looking at each other. It's like,
yeah.
It just sounds so cool, man.
Haunting.
It's really, haunting, ominous, however you want to describe it. But discuss this kitchen table for a minute. This kind of just stood out to me. There's a lot of action that happens around this kitchen table. And like the way they frame this out, man, it's cool because like their relationship throughout the movie, it always comes back to this table and you can see it as the first scene, they're kind of feeling each other out and then they get more and more pissed at each other and then it just spirals into madness. And it's like, I always see this kind of tight little space and it just almost feels like a picture to me. Doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And further, do you think that this is something that you and I could probably, like these dudes are doing 4 weeks. This is, for you and I, this would be like a vacation, I feel like. This would be 4 weeks, that's it. This would not be a problem whatsoever.
It'd be what's kind of shocking. I mean, we'll get into it later because it comes up in the plot, but it's like you don't really know what's going on time wise in this movie, and
right.
It could be a couple days that this movie's taking place on. It could be 5 weeks, could be 10 weeks. You don't know exactly, and when you say like, "Oh, it's 4 weeks," it's like that's a shockingly short amount of time.
You would think, because they rotate these guys out. How long have we been on this rock? 5 weeks? 2 days? No, but I think that would be light work, bro, in my opinion.
Because it's also like, yeah, you're not like trapped in the room.
Right.
You could go outside during the day and everything. Yeah, it is. And it's isolating and everything, but it's not the work. Like, this isn't hard time, Like, no. This is doable. No. This is achievable. We could definitely do this.
Eating lobster every day? Give me a break, bro. Give me a break.
Wake, he says that he's the only one tending to the lantern room. It cuts to Wake with his shirt off, sitting in the lantern room, staring at the light of what seems like some kind of hypnotic trance. Right? It's like, dude, I'm watching this scene and I'm instantly transported back to when we saw it in the theater. And I just remember saying to myself, I'm like, oh, like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, this is weird. This movie's going to be awesome. Like, I wasn't expecting this level of weird. And it just hits you almost right away. And every scene gets weirder and weirder. I'm like, yes.
You think initially Dafoe's going through kind of the ground rules or whatever. He seems to be normal. And then this happens. You're like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then it just keeps going and going. It just keeps like piggybacking out, compounding. It's like, it's pretty cool. It's really well done. But we always talk faces, every episode, but I feel like Dafoe is blessed with the ability to make the most insane faces, right? So it's like, he gives a masterclass in this movie. Think Spider-Man, like all the memes that he's in. He's like, well, whatever myself. It's like, he does the meme.
Yeah.
But he just is born with a interesting face, to say the least. But then what he does with it is just like incredible.
Now, I could be crazy, but I feel like Robert Eggers is on the same page as us. He could be on this podcast right now and
he called us
totally
about this.
Yeah, like he could totally understand what we're saying about dudes' faces and everything, their facial expressions. And so he's probably like, I need a movie where I get Willem Dafoe and just tell him to go completely insane, make the craziest faces possible. Because if you remember, he's also in Nosferatu, and he's making completely insane faces in that movie as well.
Yeah.
It's like,
and not for nothing, Pattinson's no slouch in this as well, man. He definitely gives some truly believable drunk / crazy. Like, it's good for him because he seems to be like the average Joe, right? The way he looks in this movie and his whole story, and he just goes completely insane.
This is a theme on our episodes. It's like these guys' faces are just these expressions they make. This is the movie I would point people to fully understand what we're talking about. It's like a whole movie of the two of them just making crazy faces at each other.
Yeah.
So
then you have this scene where you have the lighthouse in the background, and it's Winslow walking past with this wheelbarrow. And the way it is shot with the black and white and the film that they use, I paused it and I rewound it. I'm like, this looks like an actual old vintage painting of a lighthouse. kind of wild.
A lot of shots are very picturesque, and I think he's taking inspiration from certain pictures, certain art.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
he's
for sure.
seen for certain scenes, right?
Yeah. It looks sick though.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's so many good lines in this movie, which I mentally took down a bunch of them, but it's right at the beginning where Wake says, "Get to your duties. You're already behind. Are you a dullard?" And then Winslow says, "No, sir." It's the way he says it so quick. After that, he goes, "Fooled me." And he just shuts the lantern trap door. And it's just like, it's such quick and so many good lines in this movie.
The timing.
Good timing.
Yeah. It's just the inflection of how they're saying it. It's incredible.
Yeah. Good dialogue.
Wake and Winslow, they're having dinner and just bullshitting. Wake telling a story of mutiny on the ship he was on, mentions boredom being worse than the devil because it makes villains of men. Right? It's like Dafoe is absolutely berserk in this role. It's a mix of insane looking face with a crazy accent. It's like the cadence though, how he's saying it, and the late 1800s lexicon he's using, it's so good. It's just like his eyes are bulging the whole time while he's speaking too. It's just it's this insane character. Impeccable job.
I was thinking the exact same thing in this scene. The gruff voice that he has and handling the accent is just pretty impressive, like you said, but just the verbiage that he has. Like, how many people can do this? Like I said before, few people that could probably nail this the way he does.
It's one of those roles where you're like, I can't imagine anyone else in it. Maybe Nick Cage or something. I don't know.
Dude, Nick Cage would absolutely slay this role.
So it cuts to Winslow in his bed. This is just wild. I mean, I'm watching this and I'm like, yeah, this movie, every scene just gets crazier and crazier. Cuts to Winslow in his bed reading a book, and the gull pops by his window to give a little taps just to annoy him.
Dude, these birds, man.
He looks at the mermaid scrimshaw thing that he has, this little piece of wood cut into a mermaid, and it immediately cuts to him jerking it. Now, I'm just thinking to myself, can you even imagine cranking down to some wood carving of a mermaid? Think about that for a second. Imagine the amount of imagination it would take in order for that to work. Like, I think we, as a civilization, were robbed of this level of imagination because our brains are now flooded with, like 4K images of nude women and everything, right? But back then, you didn't have the internet. You had to use your imagination.
The answer is yes. Well, they actually had that scene where he's in the shed and he's cranking down and he's thinking, and then like that dude's face pops in and he's like, it's like kind of disheveled and he has to like think back. But yeah, dude, this is old school, bro. This is how you got it done. Got the roster up in your head, right? In this case, just the mermaid for him. But yeah, it's interesting because it's just this carving. And it's funny because at the beginning of the movie, he finds it at the very beginning and he immediately pockets it.
Yeah.
It's like, I know what I'm doing with this thing.
Yeah.
This is my play toy, right?
It's like, ooh, good find. Immediately after that, it cuts to Winslow.
It's like he's finding a freaking, it's like he's finding a what is this? Playboy.
Like a play.
Stuff in the bed.
The Playboy's out in the woods. Immediately it cuts to Winslow walking outside. He looks up at the lighthouse and Wake is in the lantern room, shirtless.
Yeah.
Seemingly absorbing the power of this light. It's like like I said, every scene just gets weirder and weirder. And I just think, imagine what was going through their mind when they wrote this movie, right? The origin of them writing this was some Edgar Allan Poe short story that was never completed. There was very little to it. And what they came up with was this insane shit. But okay, now we're going to have you walk outside and you're going to look up and Willem Dafoe, he's going to be up there and he's going to be possibly naked, just absorbing the power of the light. And just like,
you realize
what's going on here?
He's making up for the lack of vitamin D because it's cloudy and just there's no sun whatsoever this entire movie. He's like, I can get my vitamin D fix, bro. He's tanning, if you will.
He's tanning.
But then immediately after that, dude, is like the quote of the movie for me. I had to write this one down, but Wake's yelling at Winslow, critiquing his work. And he says, what does he say? He goes, if I tells you to yank out every single nail and suck off every speck of rust till them nails sparkle like a sperm whale's pecker, then you'll do it smiling, lad, because you'll like it. And you'll do it because I says you like it. And it's like, he says it with such conviction, bro. It's the whole, he has probably, I would say 4 or 5 of these, and we'll get to those later, but where he just has these lines. And I'm curious to know how many takes it took for him to do this, because it's not only mastering like the line, but then delivering it and getting the vernacular correct, right? And it's just so good, dude. He just, I can't say it enough. Very impressive.
He just keeps like popping off too at random times, and it adds to the level of, I guess, suspense where you're like, why is this dude popping off so much? What are this guy's duties like, how difficult could this guy's duties really be? Why does he need to shine all the floors and everything?
Well,
and then,
he's doing it because like it's a power struggle.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's just ultimate gaslighting, because he has this, it's so good through the whole movie, because dude, he just says something, and then immediately when he gets a reaction, he's like, oh, Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy. He just starts like messing with him, dude. It's so good. I love it. But I mentioned the sound earlier and the music, and this is what creates like the buildup and the tension, in my opinion. They're just starting to argue, and there's a quick intermission where it's like a scene where they're eating, and there's no words spoken whatsoever. It's like right after a fight, but the music's coming in, right? Loud, and it's like super stressful music along with this foghorn blaring, and it just builds this tension up. You can just feel this is kind of right before the shit pops off, and it sets the tone for what's to come. And it's like I said, no words spoken. You don't need any type of segue there. It's just this music getting like
tension building.
Yeah, real high energy.
That's what, it's so crazy, because it's the combination of the music, the sounds, like the horn going off, and the fact that it's so bipolar the way they're acting. They're buddies, then they're flipping out at each other. Then the next scene, they're buddies again.
When they drink. It's when they drink.
It's so crazy. You don't, something's building, and you don't know what this is all leading towards, and something is going to go crazy. That's
and the funniest part is the fact that he was never going to drink. And it's not until seemingly on the original, the OG timeline, which we'll talk about the whole timeline aspect, but in the OG timeline, I believe it's the last night. And he's like, oh, we're going to be picked up tomorrow. Have a drink. That's an order. So this dude's trying not to drink, assumed that whole kerfuffle he got into before when he was doing some logging possibly opens the door to he was drinking or whatever. So he's not drinking. And then as soon as he gets him to start boozing, it just all goes downhill.
Right.
Life lesson, folks. Don't become an alcoholic.
Many such cases.
Right.
Winslow, he's creeping up to the lantern room, and he gets up there, and Wake, he can hear him moaning up in the lantern room, and it's some kind of semi-sexual thing going on, and you can't see what's going on because the camera is looking at Winslow's reaction, and it's like some kind of slime slips down. You're like, what the hell is going on here? Next thing, you start hearing some creature, and the camera pans up, and an octopus or something slithers by. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, is this some kind of dream? This is where I start questioning reality. Is he hallucinating here? Because is this a real secret of why Wake doesn't want him in this room up here, right? Unknown. But it's like this mystery is going on where I had zero clue this was what the movie was going to be about. And I'm like freaking out watching it because I'm so happy that some weird shit's going on that I'm shocked by this. This never happens in movies.
There's a lot of mythology with this movie, given the substance, right? And but it begs the question of what's real, what's not, because my mind immediately goes to dream sequence, hallucination, and you just don't know. And that's what he does a masterful job of. You really end up with no answers in this movie at the end.
Well, the way they cut it, it's like he's in his bed, one scene, and then the next scene is him crawling up, creeping up the stairs. But then you're like, well, wait a second. If he was just in bed a second ago, this might just be a dream that he's having, right? Because he has a dream earlier in the movie too, right?
Probably intentional.
You stop understanding there's no barrier between what's real and what's a dream anymore, though. You don't know what's going on.
Just gets worse. So
then it immediately cuts to Winslow waking up the next day. So it does make you think that he possibly was dreaming a little bit. Finds a dead gull in the cistern and is visited by the one-eyed gull that has been tormenting him. And he just he grabs this thing out of the air and just starts beating it to death for a good amount of time, like 20 seconds.
Yes.
Right?
I loved every second of it.
And I don't know whether the juxtaposition here, this slow build up and boom, some insane over the top thing happens, right? And it's shocking at every turn. And I don't know whether to be disturbed or to start laughing though, because it's so weird and it's creating this whole uneasy feeling this whole time. Something is going to happen. This is all building towards something.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Well, I mean, immediately after you have the wind chime or the directional change directions, it starts to go crazy. So it's like, and the music lends itself to that as well. But personally, what are your thoughts on seagulls? Let's start there.
Well, okay. They're kind of annoying in the sense that you don't want to be having any food around them because they'll steal your food.
Oh, yeah.
But I kind of like them because it reminds me, like, every time I see them, it's because I'm down the shore and like the only place in the world I want to be is just on the beach. So I kind of vibe with them in terms of like, they just chill and they're so used to people that they just don't move now.
Now, I can respect that and I somewhat agree with it, but I'm talking about geese, bro. Like the brown, black-necked geese that you see zipping around all the time that basically just walk in front of you and you just want to run them over, but there's other cars and pedestrians. It's like, all right, I'll probably get in trouble for this. But bro, if I was to do this to any creature on Earth, and there's probably only one animal that I actually hate, I talk about this all the time. It's those long necked geese. I could literally take them by the neck because they come at you. They'll start like, they just have too little respect for humans that are literally 10 times their size. I just want to grab one by the neck and just pull a Winslow and just start bashing them against the ground. I hate these things, dude.
They're very territorial.
To the point where,
lots.
Bro, we have at my job, we have this kind of like a industrial complex or whatever, or it's like a whatever area with a bunch of businesses. Yeah. And we were going for a run, me and two other guys going for a run, and we literally ran by one. It did not move an inch. And I'm like probably 2 feet from it.
Oh yeah, they don't care.
And I'm thinking to myself, as I'm running, dude, I could just grab this thing by its neck and hold it like a baseball bat. And it can't do anything, just start smashing it against the ground. I could do that. I hate these things with a passion, dude. I cannot stress enough how bad I hate these birds. It's like, it has no respect for humans, so.
They're aggressive too.
Tangent there, but.
They don't like you walking in their parking lots.
It's not their parking lot.
So like start yelling at you and shit.
I'm the human. I'm the one with posable thumbs. I can murder you in 2 seconds. Plus, I think like you can get like crazy diseases from their shit if you step in it or something. Like I've read before, but yeah, they're just trash, bro.
They're mogging you?
Trash.
Are they mogging you?
Dude, they're frame mogging me, bro.
Oh my God.
Hey, absolutely hate them.
So supposedly Winslow's last night before he leaves, but a storm is coming. So they board everything up, right? And Wake, like we were talking earlier, Wake is determined to get Winslow to drink this night and won't take no for an answer now. And it just cracks me up seeing Dafoe pressure this guy to drink. It's like, has there been a more convincing case of peer pressure than Dafoe in this movie, right? You're sitting, having dinner with this old kook, talking in his insane accent. How can you say no? He gets him to drink immediately. They just down like 3 cups of liquor
I know,
each.
dude, that's such a cool scene, man. It's like a cool shot because it's like over the shoulder, at an angle of this little table. It's like really cool the way it's shot. I loved it.
In for a penny, in for a pound. He gives in and just immediately is like, all right, I guess I'm just getting totally sloshed.
Yeah, that's what you can tell. There's a reason subconsciously or consciously that he's holding off on drinking, and he tells him no initially. Then obviously later in the movie, he spills his beans, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you said, once he downs that first couple cups, all hell breaks loose. For sure.
All right, so this storm rolls in, right? And it destroys their provisions. Now they have to ration their food, right? And Wake tells Winslow he might be stranded out here for a while, months even, because the storms don't necessarily end out in the island where they are. And I'm like, what's going on here? They immediately start digging outside and pull up a box from underneath the earth.
That's that reserve cash, dog.
What is going on here exactly? I'm so confused. There's no explanation whatsoever. There's just, and they open it, it's just a box of liquor buried underground. Like, what?
That's that reserve cash, bro. They're like pirates digging up a treasure.
Right. So now they're rationing, and now they're surviving off of liquor. That's it.
The thing that I question is, he references the prior guys coming to this island to work with Dafoe's character, Wake. It's like, is he just like storing bottles and just keeps like a cache of liquor when these dudes don't drink? And it makes you wonder,
not known.
It makes you wonder what are the relationships between him and these other prior guys.
Why is there a box of liquor underground though?
Well, dude, that's a stat. Well, it's intentional. So in case something happens like a rogue wave, the most important thing is the liquor cache. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it makes you think about his character in general. Just to do a quick dive into it. It's like he seemingly, at least he claims, obviously we know nothing to be true here, but he claims that he has a family and seemingly 1-2 kids, and he was gone at sea for too long. It's like, what is this guy's end game? Literally. He's like the king of this island, and that's all he cares about. He knew he was a lifer, so he's like, here's my opportunity to be a king of this little island.
Yeah, once he got a touch of that light, that sweet, sweet light energy, he's like, dude, I'm just staying here. Fuck my family. Like, I'm just chilling out here and just absorbing this power of this light here on out.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole, it sets the tone, like you were saying, for the timeline. And, out of nowhere, he says it's been weeks since they've missed the relief. So you really start to wonder at this point, what's going on? It feels like it was just a day, but he's like, it's been weeks. So that's where it starts to really confuse the audience of like, how much time has really passed here? Because on screen, it should have been maybe half a day. And then again, from that point on, there's just no way to track it, which is kind of wild.
So, okay, now the scene changes. They're in their room and they're just shit-faced again, talking about eating grass without teeth. And all of a sudden,
yeah, dude.
One of them goes, what? And they just go back and forth yelling what at each other for a good 10, 15 seconds. They just go like, what? And I'm like, this movie, it's just like such a great mix of paranoia, schizophrenia, and claustrophobia just combined. Everything is so unhinged, and yet at the same time, I find myself just cracking up at everything. But there's no explanation for what's going on though. It just hits you out of nowhere. It's like, how often can you say that though? That you just have no idea where this movie is going, even halfway through, and it's so good you're just compelled to keep watching. How often does that happen?
Not very often. Like we mentioned, I can't think of any movies in the past. Again, I don't mean to beat a dead horse because we talk about this every episode, but yeah, there's just not these movies. But I do believe that there's the opportunity to have these movies. Unfortunately, they just don't get the green light to be made.
Right.
Proper budget.
Well, I mean,
11 million.
that's what I rant about all the time, is basically they give all this money to superhero movies and whatnot, and they need to just start giving it to dudes who, they'll take a risk on. But if they're not going to give a giant budget, that's fine. I don't care. At least just give it to some dude like this who's just making wild stuff. And it seems to be like they're hearing me. They're hearing my prayers in Hollywood.
Speak to him. But this is basically, for me, the top scene. So Wake is visibly upset by Winslow shitting on his cooking. And he's like, "You're fond of me lobster, though, ain't you? Say it. Come on. Say you're fond of me lobster." And you can see him visibly upset. Like and almost immediately when he's like, "It's shit." Dude, Wake just jumps to his feet and in a rage and just belts out this curse on Winslow. And he doesn't blink on screen for 1 minute and 17 seconds, which to me, bro, I'm sure you know which scene I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you watched it back or not, but to me, this is absolutely incredible. It's like the lighting on his face here, which I was mentioning earlier, it's kind of hitting him in such a way that he looks like this evil character, like this demon. It's just God tier lighting on that part. But I just want you to understand just how fucking hard this monologue would be to memorize because of A, the vernacular, but B, he doesn't blink for 1 minute and 17 seconds. This is why Dafoe is a Mount Rushmore guy.
Yeah.
Like, think about that, dude. You don't, the intention is to not blink, whether it was, him or Eggers, but he just has this insane monologue and just nails it. 1 minute and 17 seconds on screen. I would be curious to know how many words were in that monologue, because I have a pretty photographic memory and I have no problem memorizing lines, but to deliver it this way, difficult, very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, about halfway through, I'm like, oh, he's still going. He's still going strong.
Dude.
I was like, oh, this is impressive.
It tops it all off by Winslow. He's sitting in the corner. He's like, "Okay, have it your way then."
Yeah.
It's just the response is so good, man. Their responses to each other is so good.
How many times do you think they did that take?
It's a great question. I'd be curious to look that up. How many takes did?
I mean, if it's more than one, it's wild, because
the famous sea curse scene was achieved in one single continuous take. So
that is impressive. I mean, it's just wild. And then, like you say, Pattinson's just look at it and I'm like, holy shit, this dude just popped off on me. Like,
yeah.
Okay, dude.
Okay, have it your way then. It's such an awesome scene, man. Makes the whole movie.
You think it can't get more insane, but it most certainly does. Winslow about to kill Wake now to take his lantern room key. Like, Wake's asleep and he's leaning over him and he decides, wait a second, why don't I just kill this guy? And boards creak and it wakes Wake up. And he tells Winslow to get back to his duties. Winslow starts laughing like he's going to go insane. And it cuts to this just schizophrenic montage. Quick cuts of him drinking, cranking his hog real hard. His imaginations of a naked mermaid and what appears to be a gill vagina.
Yeah.
And the images of the real Winslow, who he seemingly killed.
Right.
This all starts flashing on screen. And it's like, do you think Eggers was like, dude, I think for this movie, we need a montage. I've seen Rocky. It worked well in Rocky.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And dude, I think the guy they casted to play the real Winslow is like perfect because he's got this, snow white hair and this mustache. And he just like looks kind of creepy, scary, but not in a weird way. It's just, dude, the juxtaposition between that, the mermaid, all this stuff, the imagery is just very, very powerful. But yes, the montage does work here, in my opinion.
But again, no explanation whatsoever what is going on. You're just hit with these images on screen. And you, the audience member, are like, holy smokes.
I think it's supposed to just add to like the helter-skelter insanity of what's going on.
100%.
It just heightens up the viewer's attention, right? And it just gets like crazier and crazier. So it just makes it that much more crazy.
And it just keeps going. Might be the funniest scene in the movie though. Like they start getting liquored up again, but this time they are dancing furiously, right? It cuts to them holding each other, then slow dancing after that. And it looks like they're legitimately about to make out. And Winslow throws Wake off him, realizing what's happening. He immediately puts his hands up in this fighting stance, and they start fighting each other, like pretty furiously.
The old prize fighter stance.
But the best part about it is he throws Wake off of him, gets in a fighting stance, and the both of them, they realize how insane this is, what's going on. So they start laughing right before they just start fighting each other.
Dude. It's good. But even better to add to that is then you hear this distant foghorn going off.
Yeah.
Like when they finally settle down.
Yeah.
And it's just that wave, right? That ebb and flow of like the craziness, and then it subsides, and then it gets crazier, and then it subsides. And he even mentions it. He's like, I only like you when you're drunk. Like, I can only talk to you when you're drunk. And then it's like right when they're sober in the morning is when Wake goes back to being a curmudgeon, right? Do your duties.
Yeah.
And it's just that whole back and forth is what I think messes with Winslow throughout the whole thing till he just can't deal with it anymore. Like, there's a bunch of reasons that he even states of like why he goes crazy. And you might be apt to do the same. Like, you have to survive this insane old guy. He's alone working this lighthouse. He doesn't have a family anymore. So
like right after their fight, Winslow, quote, spills the beans that he's actually Thomas Howard and stole Ephraim Winslow's identity after he watched him die. And what follows is this series of events in which Howard thinks Wake is trying to stop him from leaving and kill him with an axe. But Wake responds with just gaslighting him and basically telling him all this is in your own head. You're not even on this rock right now. You're back in Canada in the woods. And it's like, you're not sure what exactly is going on because through the movie, Howard he's just hallucinating things, right?
And he sells it so well, Wake does, to where, and he describes everything. So it's like, you're in a foot of snow or knee deep in snow up in Canada is what he refers to it as.
Yeah.
Side note, Thomas Howard, that was one of the aliases that Jesse James used while he was alive. Just side note there. But dude, I've seen this movie multiple times. I've watched this probably like 5 or 6 times. And yeah, it's something that I still can't figure out. Like, in theory, it's still the normal timeline and they're days away from leaving while this is all happening. But Wake is just tormenting this dude into going crazy. Or he's actually crazy. I don't know, right? Like, is he just actually crazy?
Yeah. The other alternative is Wake is just messing with him.
Right.
Which is
and he does
totally
a good job,
believable.
dude.
Yeah.
He just,
he's
like the scene where he's boo-hoo and he's calling him a baby and a pussy and like a bitch. It's like, bro, this dude is literally could kill you.
Right.
I'm sure you want to do this because physically he could probably destroy you, which is another thing throughout the movie. I'm thinking to myself, dude, he could whoop this dude's ass. He's this old curmudgeon, frail dude. Like, at what point is he just tormenting him and taunting him to do so? Like, what's going on here? Bad business decision in my book. But
it is like a Fight Club kind of moment, though, where you're like, wait, I have to reinterpret everything I just watched, though.
Yes, exactly. Good point. I do want to note, though, Pattinson's, I mentioned before, like, he still does a damn good job at some of these believable facial expressions, but he's got this drunk 1,000-yard stare when he's being told this information. You can tell he's in his head calculating everything out. He's like, am I really? Even to where he's standing up and he just looks over at him when he says, how long have we been on this rock? And he's just looking back at him with the most insane look. Like, that was used in the trailer. And I remember that vividly being like, okay, this could be cool.
Yeah.
That was like one of the last things they used. Are like, how long have we been on this rock? 5 weeks? 2 days? And he just gives him this look. I'm like, okay, this is going to be good for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're finally out of booze, right? And then this is good. I had to look this up, but they start mixing honey with turpentine. And this is what I'm talking about when you always say about getting cracked out. This right here is getting cracked out. It reminds me almost of one of my favorite movies. We'll cover it, The Master, where Joaquin Phoenix plays Freddie Quell, and he's just MacGyvering hooch throughout the entire movie, which is awesome. Like, we have to do that movie soon because that's such a good movie. Paul Thomas Anderson, but Joaquin Phoenix just absolutely kills it. But yeah, it's this honey mixed with turpentine. Because I saw, I was like, they're putting this jelly-like substance, like that has to be honey for flavor, but they're drinking turpentine.
Yikes.
They're out of booze.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's wild.
What'll that do to you? That'll mess you up.
It'll kill all the parasites in you, apparently.
Ivermectin.
So now Howard has finally had enough, and he just beats up Wake, right?
Yeah, finally.
Then starts having him act like a dog for some insane reason. He puts a leash on him, leads him outside, and launches him into this hole in the ground that he dug, and starts burying him alive, right? But not before grabbing the key to the lantern room. So Howard goes inside, Wake follows him in and runs at him with an axe and hits him in the shoulder. Howard immediately hits Wake in the face with a pot, gets the axe, and kills him finally. Now, if that all sounds insane, it's literally what happens with zero explanation in the matter of like a minute of screen time.
Yeah. Well, even more of note is when he's burying him. This is another example I'm talking about of, his acting. He's burying him, and he's just given this whole other monologue about some mythological bullshit. And it plays so well because multiple times throughout the movie, Winslow's like, just shut your gab, shut your mouth. And he just keeps popping on. He's like, I can't hear you speak anymore. But as he's even killing him, he's still talking. But most importantly is he's throwing this dirt on him. The dirt gets in his mouth, and he just keeps delivering his line while he's like chewing on the dirt. Like, this is 100% not, off script. He's just going with it. And just, these are the things, hats off, man. Dafoe, just absolutely incredible, but such a great scene.
So Wake's dead, right? And it's like Howard, the movie ends at Howard finally going into the lantern room. He's looking at the light, and he opens the little glass casing, and it's like he's looking at the light, having some religious experience.
Yeah.
He falls out of the room, down the stairs of the lighthouse, and then the scene just cuts to him naked on a beach, being picked apart by seagulls in some kind of like Promethean punishment for this whole thing. Now, I remember sitting there watching this in a theater, right? I'm like, what the hell was that ending right there? And immediately I thought to myself, I'm going to start looking around the theater, looking at people's reactions, because this is completely insane right here.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. That was what happened to Prometheus. And there's all this mention, and at least, the siren and all that. So it ends with that. But it's a weird blur between this could possibly happen, and then there's some mythological stuff going on in this movie. But to your point, it's like, it's shot in such a weird way that it almost feels fake. You know what I mean? When it pans over to his body and the seagulls are picking, it's like the way it's presented, even when the scene where it feels like a dream, where Dafoe, and it has to be because what's actually happening on screen is Dafoe's naked and he's looking down at him, and like has like this light from his eyes shining into what's his name? Howard's eyes.
Yes. Yeah. Like, the hypnosis.
That is right. That feels the same vibe as this last scene where he's getting picked apart. So what's real? That's the real question. That's how it kind of ends the movie. Right. So I don't know. I mean, what's final take on this? I don't know, dude. Could this be completely, the coolest thing would be is, and it would be stupid if it ended this way, but just as the viewer, you're thinking, what if this was actually just all a dream and this dude is laying down stranded in the middle of Canada in this snowstorm, and he's dying, and this is like was him coping with his death, and he just created this whole alter thing in his subconscious.
Yeah.
as he's dying. Like, that would be cool. It's like that. That's what I think he kind of, I don't think he intentionally does, but they do reference it, and I'm like, all right, that's a cool thought experiment, right? To like what actually we don't know what is happening in this movie, so I don't know.
But I would hate if they actually did some kind of thing where they said that was the case. I'd never want to know.
Oh, it would be stupid. It would be stupid. Yeah, the whole point would be to just leave it ambiguous.
Yeah, for sure.
But the whole references of mythology, I like it. This is a maritime style movie. You know, he calls down to Poseidon to put the curse on him. The whole idea of him killing the seabird, those are lost sailors coming down, and it's bad luck. So all those things play into it. He calls him like a fate captain. So yeah, I like all those touches. I'm a realism guy, so those weird, you know, the tentacles and stuff. But again, that could just be his imagination. So yeah, dude, this movie just hits all pieces.
Well, how do you rate it? So how's your keto rating? Tell me.
Ooh, for me, I'm gonna give it a strong 9, right? Yeah, dude, I say it all the time. Basic concept, and just look what you can do with just $11 million. Basic concept.
Yeah.
Literally only 2 characters in the entire movie that literally have speaking roles, right? And you can turn that into a masterpiece. Especially the fact that it's black and white with this tiny aspect ratio. Like, look how successful it is. And it really feels like you're watching, you found this old film, right? And you stumbled on this old film and you put it on a projector and you're watching these guys go at it. Like, it was almost like filmed.
Yeah.
I think it's just so cool. Shots in the movie are incredible that I mentioned before. Acting, obviously second to none. So, but we talk about Pattinson's evolution as an actor. This is challenging roles that he always wanted to do and further proof of how good he is. And crazy respect for that. But, and then obviously you have Dafoe, speaks for itself. Possibly his best role in my opinion. But yeah, I give it a 9. What about you?
Well, I mean, I also give this movie a 9. I'm actually apt to go higher.
Wow.
The only reason I wouldn't is because it might just be like too weird for people.
Well, yeah, it's worth a watch though.
It's not too weird for me. I love that. Completely insane movie, brilliant acting, a perfect tale how you can go insane in isolation, right? Every scene weirder than the next, absolute just kino. But to your point, like, yeah, you don't need a giant budget. This is an artistic vision. A guy is allowed to go wild with his artistic vision, right? Or, you know, like or just have a really good writer. But they seem to be just eschewing both of them for large ass budgets and, you know, flying things
just
on the screen.
Brain rot.
Yeah.
As the kids say.
Perfect
Brain
example
rot.
though. Like this is the answer. Just give guys like this more opportunities. Keep
And
giving
love it
them
or hate
money.
And love it or hate it, as the viewer, I know some people don't like it, but having to draw your own conclusions and leaving it kind of open-ended, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but obviously for me it works here. You know what I mean? Draw your own conclusions, as I just came up with some bullshit about how he actually died and what this is all about. So yeah, and that works here, and I like it. So yeah, definitely 9 out of 10 for me. Folks, if you haven't seen it, check out The Lighthouse. Please share. If you enjoyed this episode, share with your friends. Give us a like, subscribe. King, what do we got on for next week? What's the movie?
Next week we'll be talking the movie Heat.
Ooh,
which is
movie.
Certified Kino Classic. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll discuss guns too. But
talk guns.
It's been a while.
We're talking about guns.
It's been a minute. Yeah.
Well, till then, catch you on the next one.
Take care, folks.